Hello guys, welcome to another video just like last week. But well, one thing is not the same as last week. My presence and efforts would be minimal in this time. Today we will be collabing with ARTman from ARTman Productions. So without wasting any time, let's move on to the part where I don't do any work.
As an anime enthusiast, my journey has led me to various destinations, but I will never forget how I actually began my journey. Because many people usually start off with Death Note or Naruto or One Piece, Dragon Ball Z, Fairy Tail, Bleach, Black Clover, and all of these other anime, the mainstream ones. Some these days have started off with Attack on Titan, My Hero Academia, One Punch Man, and all of this. Me, on the other hand, I started off with Psychopaths. The reason why it feels weird to say this is because, let's be honest, the first 13 episodes of Psychopaths are so goddamn slow that if you're not really into the whole concept of Psychopaths and what it's potentially about, you will probably leave the anime by the third episode. Because trust me, world building is important, but god damn it if Psychopaths takes its time. I loved the dark dystopian vibes it gave me, and the fact that I just recently read George Orwell's 1984 made the anime experience just that much more enjoyable. Now, if you're not aware what George Orwell's 1984 is about, this is a novel that was written in 1949. And even though it was written almost 4 decades before the title of the novel, it's kind of like George Orwell's vision of the future, which is why it is fondly known as an Orwellian future. So if you talk about a dystopia where artificial intelligence has taken over, where everybody is governed by devices and all of that, then yeah, that is kind of an Orwellian future where everything you think, say, or do is monitored constantly, and everything that you think, say, or do has consequences on your position in the society. And that is amazing if you think about it, because we are actually moving towards a similar future. So we can say that the novel was quite visionary in that aspect. Even though I got these dystopian vibes, I loved the anime, and it is a completely different topic for a completely different video. If you want me to talk about the parallels between or the inspiration that went behind Psychopaths. But when a friend of mine recommended id Invaded, Invaded, I was genuinely interested. So here's how I describe id Invaded. An old jaded detective is accompanied by a new recruit to solve a crime involving an intelligent system capable of gauging the human subconscious to understand better how crime is committed. Not to mention the fact that there is a particular instrument that helps you gauge that particular psychological advancement in human subconscious by using multiple different mumbo jumbo science fiction terms such as cognition particles and whatnot. And the ending, spoiler alert, is a big reveal about the intelligence system itself, about how it might actually be the reason why the whole system is going to shit and why the whole society as a whole is probably problematic, etc., etc., etc. You might be thinking, why does this sound familiar? That's because it's inspired by Psychopaths. There's Inception-ish dream diving involved as well, and many people have also compared this anime to Minority Report as well, the Hollywood movie. And basic idea of the series is as follows. id Invaded is produced by Studio NAS. It was written by Otaro Maijo and directed by Ei Aoki. It follows former detective Akihito Narisago as he dives into the so-called Idwell of serial killers in order to solve the puzzle of their varying crimes. To do so, investigators use a machine known as the Mizuhanome coupled with a Wakumusubi, like, a Dominator from Psychopaths, to collect cognition particles produced when a killer experiences the urge to kill, typically found at the scene of the crime. These particles give detectives more to work with, more pieces to fit together, and a better understanding of the mind of the killer when they step into the cockpit of the Mizuhanome. Yes, I said cockpit. It is an amazing virtual machine. Have you seen Ready Player One? It's kind of like that. It is very cool. It is awesome. And when inside an idwell, Akihito, or the main character, as people call MC, not the Indian MC, but the English MC. Lol. When inside of this idwell, Akihito takes on the persona of a brilliant detective known as Sakaido. Now, brilliant detective is kind of like a character that this guy plays in that idwell, and he loses his memories of the real world and must start from scratch. The one constant throughout the series has been the involvement of a mysterious girl known as Kairu-chan and the presence of the living embodiment of censored content, John Walker. So first and foremost, you need to understand, this dude looks like... Have you ever seen any censored hentai? Yeah, that's it. I think John Walker is not just limited to the id invaded world. There is a very high possibility that this dude is not just jumping through id wells, he's also jumping through multiple realities and going through multiple different places at multiple different times only to appear to censor a particular thing, which, let's be honest, nobody really likes. Now, from the beginning, Kairu-chan appears as a victim inside the mind of each serial killer that Sakaido visits. Victim as in a victim of murder. Her death becomes central to the investigation and to the identity of Walker throughout the series. Walker being a suspected serial killer himself who can hop freely in and out of id wells. That's just gotta be crazy. I mean, an id well, it's like a manifestation of a person's subconscious, right? So if an individual's subconscious is also open to some random person jumping in and out, John Walker is like Google. Think about it for a second. So these id wells are called so as they are manifestations of a person's id. Id is defined as the part of the personality that is the source of emotional impulses and desires. Hence why I called out my mistake in the start. I called it ID invaded instead of id invaded. It becomes like, it's not like they don't explain it to us. They keep saying ido, ido, ido. It's just that you don't really pick up on it if you're not paying attention and if you're like adamant on calling it ID invaded, which I did for, I'll admit, a very long time. So yeah, as for the review of this series, I can't really define my experience. It's hard not to give spoilers, trust me, especially considering the fact that the series builds up to the finale very well. Builds up being the key word here. The finale, we'll talk about that. Each episode has very specific bits of information that help you figure out your own idea of who John Walker could be, and it helps you figure out the mystery before it might actually be figured out. You also kind of find out what John Walker's connection is to Kairu-chan. The ID wells are, id wells are also a key factor for each serial killer, as they're very distinctive and unique as they are attached onto or latched onto one specific personality trait of the criminal. These id wells are also helpful as they lead to clues regarding criminals' whereabouts as well as the possible location of the next crime. Now, the whole idea of cognition particles is obviously far-fetched, but it's a fictional story, so please shut up. And let's just also think about this for a second. The idea of being able to track a person's whereabouts just by jumping inside a person's subconscious and solving a few puzzles seems very creepy to me. And like, what crime exactly would generate cognition particles? Are all crimes capable of generating cognition particles? They mention that these particles come from an individual's unconscious drive to kill. But does that mean other crimes are being ignored, or are we just focusing on only the Kura organization for this series? The Kura organization being the organization under which all of this detectivery is going on. And now that we're on the topic of the intent to kill, or the drive to kill, the unconscious drive to kill, does this also encapsulate the drive to kill all mosquitoes or drive to kill all flies? Does that come under this? Is that considered like, am I going too off topic over here? I am genuinely curious about the world this series is set in, and It Invaded unfortunately did nothing for my curiosity. The 12 episodes are not at all satisfactory, and the finale leaves much to be desired. Too many questions arise as soon as the existing ones are answered, and I wish I could have at least read the manga or the light novel, but this is an anime original, so we're completely stranded. God damn it! I mean, you can't set up a world and then completely destroy the world. You can't do that. You can't just set it up and just be like, oh, well, iske aage kuch nahi hoga, I'm sorry. Like, no, that's not possible, that's not right. Manga to karo. What is wrong with you guys? Just do a goddamn manga. How hard is it? I know it's very hard. I'm sorry to all of the mangaka people who are, trying their hardest to make good manga. I'm so sorry. Please don't kill me. But yeah, so despite all the uncertainty revolving around the finale, It Invaded does a terrific job of creating a world that inspires awe. The id wells are like psychological puzzles, and every time a well is solved, an id well is solved, my mind was blown. The series had a lot of potential. It's just disheartening to hear nothing about its future, as neither an anime nor a manga, light novel, or even live action adaptation. Because, there's always hope for a live action adaptation. It's not like live action adaptations are bad. Attack on Titan. Anyway, that was my attempt at a spoiler-free review of It Invaded. If you liked it, do like and share this video, and subscribe to Talking Titans TV for more anime-related content on a local scale. Local, like Gouty content, but slightly better. Anyway, I'm also kind of on probation over here, in the sense that this is my guest appearance. So if you guys really liked what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, narration and all, then let the guys know in the comments below, so they'll probably think of making me join this particular team, because they really need a lot of craziness. And also I have my own YouTube channel called ARTman Productions, where I do more crazy shit just because I can. So please check that out. The link will hopefully be in the description, unless the people from Talking Titans do not put it there, in which case it's not my fault, it's theirs. I've told you the name, go search on YouTube. Go wild, people, go wild. Anyway, that's the end of this video. If you liked it, once again, go give us a like, share, comment and subscribe. And yeah, that's it. I should probably stop now. I should have stopped like 20-30 seconds ago, but I guess I just don't want to stop. Guys, please add me into this, please take me into Talking Titans, please.